Hi, my name is David O'Callaghan and I'll be presenting the work from myself and Patrick Mannion titled Exploring the Impact of Tunable Agents in Sequential Social Dilemmas. We are from the School of Computer Science at National University of Ireland, Galway. This presentation will be formatted as follows. I'll first present the abstract of our work, followed by relevant background material and some related work. I'll then present the methodology employed in this research and the main experimentation conducted along with their results. Finally, I'll conclude the talk with some points on possible future work. In the field of reinforcement learning, agents are typically trained to converge to some fixed behavior or policy. However, if a different agent behavior is required in the future, the agent normally has to be partially or completely retrained. In our work, we use a method to design agents whose behaviors can be tuned after training without the need for retraining, using techniques from multi-objective reinforcement learning. Through our experimentation, we show that the tunable agents framework allows for easy adaptation between cooperative and competitive behaviors in sequential social dilemmas, catering for a range of possible behaviors and opponent strategies. In this section, I'll present relevant background material on multi-objective reinforcement learning, where prior knowledge of standard ORL theory is assumed. In standard reinforcement learning problems, sequential decision-making tasks are solved by optimizing a single objective. However, many real-world problems are multi-objective by nature, and these objectives can be in conflict with each other. For example, if designing an agent to control a self-driving car, driving fast and keeping fuel consumption low would be conflicting objectives. The Markov decision process is extended to a multi-objective MDP, where the agent receives vectorized rewards. The formula for the value function for multi-objective MDPs is shown here. Note that this is identical to the value function for standard MDPs, except the reward and therefore the value function itself are vectorized. Each element in the reward vector corresponds to the reward received by the agent for each objective. So one approach to solving multi-objective MDPs, or MOMDPs, is to use a scalarization function to convert the vector value function to a scalar value function using a weight vector W. Each element in W corresponds to the agent's preference over the corresponding objective. In this study, we use linear scalarization, which is simply the inner product of the weight vector and the vector value function. If W is unknown during the learning stage, a set of policies can be learned using a range of values for W. The most relevant work to our research is from Shellstrom and Heinz in 2019. Note that the full citation is shown at the bottom of the slide. In their work, they introduced an architecture for training agents that makes it possible for agents to prioritize among a set of objectives during runtime. Their experiments showed that the agents trained using this architecture could approximate the policies of multiple agents trained with fixed preferences over objectives. They used two grid world environments with a single trainable agent in their experiments. One of these environments is the item gathering environment, which is shown on the right. The blue box in this figure and the pink box are agents, and the colored boxes can be collected by either agent. The blue agent can be set to have preferences over which color of box to collect, and the pink agent only collects red boxes. A tunable agent was trained with a range of objective preferences, and it was shown that it could approximate the behaviors of different agents trained with fixed preferences. I've omitted some of the details here, but you can refer to the paper below for a thorough explanation. The framework used for training agents with tunable behaviors involves combining linear scalarization with the deep Q network algorithm. As depicted in the image on the right, the neural network is conditioned on both the environment state and the weight vector. During training, the weight vector is repeatedly resampled so the DQN can converge on many policies simultaneously. To explain this method in further detail, an algorithm is presented here. This algorithm is adapted from Shellstrom and Heinz for training multiple tunable agents. For each episode, each agent first observes the initial state of the environment. A weight vector is then sampled for each agent, which is kept for the remainder of the episode. Until a terminal state is reached, each agent takes an action based on their current state and on their weight vector using an epsilon greedy policy on their neural network output. Each agent observes their resulting reward vector and next state. The experience is then stored in replay memory for each agent. Note that the weight vector is also stored in the replay memory since it's needed in forward propagation. At the end of each episode, a backpropagation step is done after sampling a mini batch from the experience replay memory for each agent. In this study, we applied the tunable multi-agent framework to a multi-objective version of the Wolfpack environment from Lebo et al. In our case, the pixel-based grid world dimensions were 16 by 16. The Wolfpack environment is a sequential social dilemma where predator agents aim to capture a prey, and they can either cooperate to capture the prey together or compete to capture the prey alone. Referring to the image on the right, the predators are represented by blue pixels, the prey is represented by a red pixel, and obstructions are represented by gray pixels. At each time step, the predators can move up, down, left, right, or remain in their current location. As is the case in the original Wolfpack environment from Lebo et al., the prey is captured if one of the predators moves to the same location as the prey. The capture is a team capture if both predators are within a certain distance of the prey at the time of the capture. This distance is known as the capture radius and is shown in green. Otherwise, the capture is a lone capture. Note that the green area is not actually part of the environment state and is only included for the purpose of this explanation. The environment was made multi-objective for our work by returning a reward vector to the predators where one element corresponds to a team capture and another corresponds to a lone capture. In our work, the prey agent selects a random action at each time step. After training the predator agents for 80,000 episodes, using the tunable agent algorithm described earlier, simulations of episodes in the Wolfpack environment were analyzed. Here, shown on the left, both predator agents have their weight vectors set to have full preference for lone captures, resulting in a competitive environment where both agents race to capture the prey. In contrast, shown on the right, both predator agents have their weight vectors set to have full preference for team captures, resulting in interesting behavior where the predators either approach the prey together or one predator waits near the prey for the other predator to approach before capturing the prey. To take more of a quantitative approach in analyzing the behaviors of the tunable predator agents, we computed the team capture rate over 250 episodes in the Wolfpack environment for each pair of values for cooperativeness shown in the heat map on the left. The level of cooperativeness is the agent's preference for team captures that is represented in the weight vector. It can be clearly seen in this heat map that tuning either agent's level of cooperativeness has the expected impact on the team capture rate. Turning your attention to the plot on the right, we conducted another experiment where a third pre-trained predator agent was added to the Wolfpack environment. Since the agents were only trained in settings with two predators, in these simulations, the agents experienced states that were never seen during the learning stage. This plot shows that the agents can generalize to behaving cooperatively or competitively when there is a third predator present. As you can see, 3 predator team captures are less frequent than 2 predator team captures. This is because the agents only experience 2 predator team captures during training, and there is no additional reward for 3 predator team captures. Empirical payoff matrices were generated by simulating 250 episodes, or games, between fully cooperative agents and fully competitive, or defective agents. The payoff was computed as the scalarized reward. The payoff matrix on the left is for 2 predator agents that were trained using the tunable agent algorithm. The payoff matrix on the right is for predator agents that were trained with fixed objective preferences and can only exhibit one type of behavior. The values in the payoff matrices are quite similar, showing that the tunable agents can approximate the policies of multiple agents trained with fixed preferences over objectives. The fixed agents do, however, have slightly higher capture rates in all scenarios compared to the tunable agents. This observation is in alignment with the findings from Shellstrom and Heinz, who reported slightly reduced performance for tunable agents compared to fixed agents when the same preferences are used. This trade-off is to be expected, given that the tunable agents can exhibit a much wider range of behaviors when compared to fixed agents. In conclusion, this framework would be beneficial to any reinforcement learning problem where there is some degree of uncertainty over the desired type of agent behavior. Our work in particular has shown that the framework is suitable in multi-agent RL problems. With regards to the wolfpack environment, there is also some further avenues to explore. One could train the prey to evade the predators and analyze the social dynamics, for example. In relation to the training scheme, one could easily use a different base RL algorithm to the DQN algorithm, and also investigate the possibility of adapting the training methods for nonlinear scalarization. That concludes this presentation. Thank you for listening. As a final note, if you would like to see the code used for our work, it is available at the GitHub repository linked here. Thank you.